Shalom, brothers and sisters. This is your brother ISRAELITES from the Northern Kingdom, bringing some edification for you Negro, Latino, and Indigenous who are the biblical Israelites. And before I start, I want to give all praise and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Brakatham, Rakakadash, that Yahweh being the name of the Lord, not Jehovah, or God, or Yah, or Ahaya. It's Yahweh, the creator of all, the Ancient of Days. Bahasham is in the name of, and Yahweh Shai is the one you guys call Jesus or the Christ, ignorantly speaking. And we give double honors to our elders in GMS where we learn this truth. Shalom to the apostles, the bishops, and to the men down in the highways and byways, giving the 100% truth day and night, and the men that are laboring, that are following the correct doctrine. Shalom to you. And shalom to the 1/3 of the house of David, Labakarium in the Hebrew, the elect of the nation of Israel that are about to be saved. Shalom to you. And shalom to those speckled birds among the heathen nations that look like the heathen nations but return to the house of Israel and are being edified by these videos. Shalom to you. So what's the date today is November 12th, 2024. The year of prophecy unfolding, right? All prophecies coming true, as Elder Tahar has said. You know, this is a prophetic year that a lot of things have happened. The mindful coming of Jacob's trouble, right? And all these prophecies have been speeding up, one beyond the other. It's incredible. But what we're going to be speaking about is about Brother Paul, how he speaks, why he's being afflicted, right? Because Paul was in the truth. He knew the Lord himself was talking to him and taught him for 3 years. So why did the Lord afflict him? Though he was in the truth and doing his labor, he was being afflicted. And Paul explains this. Because a lot of us don't understand that when you come in this truth, you're going to be afflicted. You're going to be pried and tested and poked in every way possible and brought down low. A lot of our people don't understand why. Because they come out of Christianity, and Christianity says God loves you. It's going to be lollipops and roses and candy, everything sweet and small, right? They have teach you all that. But in reality, if the Lord loves you, he's going to afflict you. Okay? Receiving this truth, it has to be balanced. It can't all be hugs and kisses and lollipops, right? Unbalanced with the Lord, is an abomination. So we're going to read what Paul was trying to, tell us if you can receive it. Right. So this is 2 Corinthians chapter 12, and this verse is called the thorn in the flesh. Now, if you read this chapter, he talks about how he was in the third heaven. Okay, because Paul got stoned at one time in his life, and he was about to die. He actually went to the third heaven. He actually went to the spirit world, but it wasn't his time. And he explains the third heaven. A lot of people don't understand that because religion will tell you there's only one heaven, right? But in fact, the Bible explains there are 3 heavens. Whoever's ruling on earth, that's a heaven, right? When when Babylon ruled, that was the heaven at that time for those people. When King Solomon ruled, that was heaven for the Israelites, but it was hell for other people, right? Because he what did they ask the Lord before he left? That Acts 1:7. Well, at this time, they return the kingdom to Israel, right? It's not time yet. This world, this world has to come to an end. The reigning of these people, of the Edomites, they were given this kingdom, right? That heaven to rule, and it's coming to an end. We see the light already. So their time is up, So you have to understand that is heaven. And then you have the heavens, which is the sky. Yes. And then you have the third heaven where the Father abides with the angels. That's the spirit world. Okay. That's what the third heaven is. Okay. And he explains that he was actually there because he got stoned one time and went to heaven and was basically told, you're not done, you need to go back. So let's start this verse. A thorn in the flesh. And lest I should be exalted above measure through the abundance of revelation, because in this verse he tells you how God gave him revelation to see things and was able to write these verses, and it was seeing how to cryptically write this, because it's not all out there, hanging out there. This is cryptic form where he was writing, because he knew that this Bible was going to fall in the hands of our enemies. And for it not to be burnt, he had to write in a certain way, in a poetic form, that it sounds like it's for everybody, but in reality it's only for the Israelites. That's why he's not saying to the Israelites, he's saying to the saints. Everybody believes they could be a saint, and that's not true, right? Unless I should be exalted above measure to the abundance of the revelation, there was given to me a thorn, okay? A thorn in the flesh. So with those revelations given to Paul, okay, which is a blessing, right? To be able to see these things, the Lord had to balance it out. So remember when Paul was going to Damascus, he was blinded. And he said he really didn't, his vision was afflicted, and he'd asked the Lord to heal him 3 times, and he didn't. Okay? He always had problems with his eyes thereafter. And the Lord, that was his thorn to carry. Remember, Paul was a scholar, so for him to read and write, that was a major thing. So for him to struggle with these things was a thorn in his flesh. Okay? The messenger of Satan to buffet me, lest I should be exalted above measure, right? Because a lot of people believe, well, the prophets, they were blessed with insight, but remember, the prophets were always poor. The prophets were always getting killed. Remember, all these apostles were put to death at one point, except for John. So yes, the Lord chose them. The Lord gave them power to heal and rise the dead and all these things. But guess what? They had to be afflicted. They had to pay for that, those blessings, with their flesh, with their head, or being afflicted, being crucified, or being put to death, or being stoned. So yes, the apostles will be in the kingdom of heaven, ruling the 12 tribes of heaven, of 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. What Peter asked, we have forsaken everything. What are we going to receive? He said, you will be sitting judging the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. So that's what's being said here by Paul. But a lot of people don't understand. Well, if we love Jesus, why does he love us? Why do in Christianity just teaches that God loves you. He's gonna give you everything, right? That's the whole idea of Christianity, is like Halloween every day, getting candies every day, and living off of candies. You can't live off of candies, man. You can't have the sweet without the bitter, and you can't have the bitter without the sweet. Okay, so you have to have a balance in life. Okay, and Paul has explained this in the book of Hebrews. So this is Hebrews chapter 12, verse 5. And you have forgotten the exhortation which speaketh unto you as unto children. My son, despise not the chastising, being afflicted, okay, whatever it may be, whether it be alcoholism and drugs, or men or women, or whatever vice you might have. You might be being afflicted, or you have a disease that the Lord gave you and he's not going to remove it. You're being afflicted. Many of the men of the Lord that were prophets had some kind of disease or something like that, always a thorn in their flesh to balance them out. My son, despise thou chastising of the Lord, nor faint with thou art rebuked of him. He rebukes us in that way. Okay? And he's going to explain why. For whom the Lord loveth, because he only loves the nation of Israel. Well, brother, in John 3:16, he says he loved the world. Yes, that world is talking about the world of Israel, because the Messiah was quoting Isaiah 45:17. The world without end is the nation of Israel. All you have to do is look it up in the Greek. Cosmos, which means what? Not the world, means a government of people, an arrangement, right? So he only loves the Israelites. If you endure chastising, God dealeth with you as with sons. For what son is he whom the father chastised not? Right? Because even your father, if you had a father, would correct you. They can't be like wild animals. If you left a horse, okay, and the horse that was not trained, he was wild, okay, they call him a bronco, because you can't put a saddle on him, and he doesn't want to be ridden. You have to, you have to break him, okay? Now, when you're breaking a horse, you're putting the harness, the bit, and you're making him walk, and then that's a process. And then the second is you start saddling him up. First you put a blanket on him. He gets used to that. Once he gets used to the blanket, then you put, the saddle on him loosely, and you walk him around. This is many, many, many hours of this going round and round till the horse gets used to all that, and then the process, and then you start, trying to get on him, try to put some weight on him. And then finally you start riding him to the point where he realizes, okay, I have to submit. And that's what you call breaking a horse. And that's what the Lord is really doing, is he's breaking us for righteousness, okay? But if ye be without chastisement, wherefore all are partakers, then are ye bastards and not sons? Right? Because all we got to do is look into the different nations out here. Is the Lord afflicting the Chinese people as a whole? No. Is the Lord afflicting the Arab people as a whole? No. Is the Lord afflicting the so-called white man? No. He's afflicting you blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Why? Because you are his children, and they are not bastards. These people are bastards. The Lord made them, but they're not his children. But brother, we are all the children of God. No, sorry. That's not in the Bible, okay? The only children of God are the Israelites. It's expelled in Romans 9 and 7. You can read that. Furthermore, we have had fathers of our flesh, which correct us, right? We just mentioned that. Your real father would correct you if you had a father, right? And gave them reverence. Shall we not much rather be in subjection into Father of spirits and life? Right, because if your physical father, if you had a father, would correct you, would beat on you, right? Because, nowadays that's frowned upon. But back in the day, man, your dad would, give you that whooping, or they would get back in the South, they say, come get that switch, right? Which was a piece of wood that they would hit you with, whip you with, and correct you, right? And this is in the old days, in the 50s and 60s, right? Prior to that, if you did something in the community, everybody in the community had a right to whip your ass. Now process that. Oh, you ain't gonna put hands on my baby. No, everybody in the community had a right to beat your ass, right? Because what's that saying? It takes a village, right? It's not just your father. It's the whole community that's going to put you in check. And then guess what? If you would have come home and say, man, Mr. Jenkins, he hit me with a switch. And he's going to say, what? Mr. Jenkins hit you with a switch? Then you get a second beating. And then he would call Mr. Jenkins, what did my boy do? Oh, yeah. Oh, thank you, Mr. Jenkins. Thank you very much for beating up my children. Right? You don't hear that. We don't get correction like that. That's why this society is wild. It's crazy. It's Sodom and Gomorrah. Right? But in the kingdom of heaven, it's all going to be good. Remember, we're not going to go off. The other nations are going to go off. But we're never going to go off ever again. Because we are the sons of the living God. Verse 10, for they verily for a few days chastising us after their own pleasure, but he for our profit, that we might be partakers of his holiness. Right? Because this is the affliction is part of the contract. Why? Because in the kingdom of heaven, it's going to be like a Friday every day. Party all the time. Everybody's smiling. There's going to be no more tears. There's going to be no more pain. It's going to be all good. Everything's going to be beautiful. The air is going to be clean. the sweet noises of birds singing all the time. All that's going to be incredible to accept. We have to get that balance. That's what we're here living, breathing in chemtrails, breathing, eating our defiled bread among the Gentiles. Why? Because in the kingdom of heaven, it's going to be the total opposite. Verse 11. Now no chastising for the present seemed to be joyous, but grievous. Nevertheless, afterward it yielded the peaceable fruit of righteousness unto them which are exercised thereby. And the word exercise, right? Because a lot of people, they'll ask about, why is the Lord afflicting us? Why is it? When you go to the gym and go exercise, okay, you don't ask yourself when you get home and you're tired and you beat down and your legs are full of lactic acid, why does my legs hurt? Why do my arm hurts? Why? Because you're afflicting yourself to get that stamina, to get that strength, to get that body, right? You know that, but you don't know that the Lord afflicts thee that he loveth. That's a mystery. It's not a mystery. All you can do is read the scriptures from beginning and end. He's always afflicted us. Okay? So you have to understand that. It's just like if you're going to run a marathon, you're going to start running small miles and adding to the miles and building that stamina. Okay? And every day after, run that mile, a second mile, the third mile, a fifth mile, your legs are swollen. Your legs are sore. Your back is sore. And then you rest, and then you run again, and you start building 5 miles, 7 miles, 10 miles. And soon, you start running the miles, and they're like nothing. Trying to run that marathon. Because the Lord is what? Afflicting us so we can run the race. Okay? Paul talks about this. And we're running this race. You got to get that stamina, enough stamina to what? Win the race. And that's why we're being afflicted. To win. The Lord only wants the best. That's why he's being afflicted. In other verses, he said he's perfecting us as gold is being perfected, right? And how do you perfect gold? You increase the heat and you burn off the impurities. And that's how you get the finest gold. Because we're going to be as the finest gold of Ophir. Okay? In the kingdom of heaven. He calls us his jewels. Okay? For verily a few days chastising us after their own pleasure, but he for our profit, that he might be partakers of holiness. Now no chastising for the present seemed to be joyous, but grievous. Nevertheless, afterward it yielded the peaceable fruit of righteousness, unto which exercise thereby. Wherefore lift up thy hands, which hang down, and thy feeble knees, and make straight path. Why? The law, statutes, and commandments. Lest thou which lame be turned out of the way, but let it rather be healed. Right? Because the scriptures heal us to give that living water. And in the end, that's what's going to perfect you, brothers and sisters. So accept that you have that thorn in the flesh. Because we are being afflicted because we are sons and not bastards. I hope you guys got edified. Call halal Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai Barakatham Rakakadash, and we give double honors to our elders in GMS. And Shalom. And he that have ears, let him hear. Shalom.